Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. Okay, this is going to be a really quick list. Quick video. I wanted to do a video that just kind of like rounds out my my likes in this hobby, because even though this channel is mainly devoted to dungeon crawls and adventure games, I like a wide variety of games. I just don't buy them and collect them. And luckily for me, in my game group, there are 2 or 3 other people who also collect games, and they tend to buy like all the Euros and Normie Games, as I am facetiously and jokingly calling them on this list. But quite a while ago, I thought it was very important to have an eclectic collection, a collection of games that offered something for everyone. And I quickly realized that that just wasn't fun to me. So I've decided on my own collection and stuff to focus very narrowly on a certain kind of game. But I still play all kinds of games. And so this is my top 10 Normie games, and this is going to be real quick. I think there's going to be some surprises on here. I think some people are going to be surprised by the other kinds of games that I like, and I'll kind of give you. I think there are things about these games that maybe I also find things that I like in the dungeon crawl genre. So number 10 from 2007, and that is Jamaica. So Jamaica is a pirate-themed racing game, competitive game with amazing art. The art in Jamaica is some of the best art I've ever seen in a board game. It's super bright and colorful and cheerful. The game is super fun. You can teach it very easily, and it's a really good gateway kind of family weight game. You're racing pirate ships around a pirate island trying to get treasure, and you're fighting with each other. Super fun game. Always a good time. Jamaica. Number 9 from 2007 is Strut. Strut is chaos in a box. It is a tiny little card and dice game. It's a beer. I mean, you have to play this game drinking. We used to play it at the pub all the time. You're rolling dice. You're trying to match certain dice combinations with hands of cards. And when you do, you yell strut and you get a certain number of points. But if you yell strut and your matches and you actually have made a mistake and you don't match, you lose a bunch of points. So the more you've drank in the evening, the more fun the game comes, and it's just super, super fun. It's a crazy game. You will get like super into it. We were yelling and cheering. I mean, it's like just a complete riot. So that was number 9 was Strut. Number 8, it almost feels like a cliche putting this on the top 10 list. It kicked off a genre. When this came out, it was a revelation, and that is from 2008, and that is Dominion. I thought about putting other deck builders on here, but to tell you the truth, like if you said, hey, Daniel, let's play a deck builder tonight, what do you want to play? My first thought would be Dominion, especially if I was just playing with people who weren't into super thematic games. But Dominion is just fantastic. It's such a well-designed game. It's so fast. So much variety now with too many expansions. But yeah, Dominion is a game that when the day I got it, when the first week it came out in the US, we played it 12 times in a day. And that's the most I've ever played a single game in a day. So Dominion at number 8. Number 7, tangentially related to Dominion, I believe this was the first bag builder, but that is Puzzle Strike from 2010. Now, Puzzle Strike is a board game version of a video game called Super Puzzle Fighter, which is kind of a Tetris-like falling block puzzle game where you're building giant blocks of gems, and then you're using certain other gems to crash those gems, and they break apart and they send all kinds of crap onto your other person's screen. So it's like competitive Tetris where you're bouncing back and forth between what you're sending each other. And David Sirlin, who has worked on Street Fighter games in the balancing department, or balancing Street Fighter 2, he took that game, that video game, and made it into a bag building, a deck building with chips board game, and it's fantastic. I love that game so much. It's super creative. it's hard to explain the concept to people who aren't familiar with the video game, but once it clicks, I think it's a very good game. Really fun at 4 players. Lots of competitiveness going on, lots of take that kind of action. So very good. That's number 7, Puzzle Strike. Number 6 is probably the most thematic game on this list, and that is 2008's Ghost Stories. And also probably the hardest game on this list. It's a Taoist Ghostbusters, the game. I love this theme. Spiritual kung fu movies and Chinese hopping vampire movies is one of my favorite subgenres of martial arts cinema. If you're not familiar with the Chinese hopping vampire mythology, go Google that term, Chinese hopping vampire, and go down that rabbit hole for a bit because it is so much fun. But these are movies about Taoist monks using magic to stop ghosts and stuff. And this movie just captures that, this game just captures that theme perfectly. Movies like Spooky Kind, Encounters of the Spooky Kind, Mr. Vampire, Kung Fu from Beyond the Grave, Kung Fu Zombie, Rigor Mortis. Ghost Stories is it's like a stress in a box, right? If you make one mistake in that game, you probably aren't going to win. I can count the times I've won the game on 5 fingers, on one hand, and I've had it since 2008. But I love that game. It's so much fun. And coming in at number 5 is Better Monopoly from 2010, Lords of Vegas. This game they should just get rid of Monopoly and sell Lords of Vegas in its place. It's that perfect family weight game. It is always fun. There's always at least one moment in that game where everybody stands up for a dramatic dice roll. We play with a house rule where if you have any money left at the end of your turn, you have to gamble at somebody else's casino. So that just keeps things even more fun and dramatic. Just such a fun game about building casinos on the old-timey Las Vegas Strip. So very good game. Number 4 is probably my most played game of all time, and that is 1995's Condottiere. Excuse me. It's a very light area control / war-ish game. It's a war-themed game about 13th century Italy, and you're trying to capture territory. I tell people, when people haven't heard of the game, I say it's Risk meets War, the card game. And while that analogy isn't 100% perfect, it does paint a good picture. Great game of hand management and bluffing and area control. Super fast. It scales incredibly well from 3 to 6. I've played at every player count. At a 6-player game, it doesn't increase the time limit exponentially. So amazing game, Condottiere. And I think these next 3 are really going to surprise people because they don't sound like games that I would like at all. But number 3 from 1964, that is Sid Sackson's classic Acquire. You're trying to build hotel chains and merge them and trade stock. It's a very simple game. This was my family's Monopoly. This is the game that my family played growing up instead of Monopoly, and I still love it. I still play it. We played it a couple years ago with some younger, new people into the hobby, and they liked it as well. So even though it's simple, it's very good. Okay, so that was number 3 with Acquire. Number 2 from 2010. 2010 seems to be a really good, let's see, 1, 2, 3 games from 2010. This is by far the heaviest game that I like, and when people find out that I like this game, they're always very surprised. That's from Chad Jensen, and that is Dominant Species. Yeah, by far the heaviest game I like, and I love this game. It's a super crunchy, kind of Euro style war game, area control game, but one that can be learned and taught thematically. The theme and mechanisms are just expertly integrated with each other. And probably one of the reasons why I do like it is one of these kinds of games that I can actually win. I don't know what it is. I'm terrible at games. I love board games, duh. But I'm terrible at board games. I really am. That's why I don't play a lot of competitive games. I'm really bad. But for some reason, something with dominant species really clicks with me. I get it. I get the strategy, and I love dominant species. Such a great game. And number one, my favorite game, even though Secrets of the Lost Tomb is my favorite game of all time, this game actually does rival it. I think that on a scale, you know, as a game, this is a better game. I think that this game is the most just well-designed board game I have ever played. And that is from 1995, and that is El Grande. It's a game in medieval Spain. It's an area control game, but it uses its card system for like your action selection and your initiative, and how you, everybody has the same hand of cards to choose your workers, your cubes that you're placing and how many. And you just have to decide if you want to go first or if you want to get the most people out on the board. And you have to think about that through the whole game. It has 3 set scoring phases, so you always know when you're going to score. It's got the secret scoring in the tower. It's just, it does so much with so little, and it is just, for me, it is just a perfect strategy game, a perfect hobby game. Super easy to teach. I don't think Euro games get any better than El Grande. And I know like Euro games now, they're so complex now. They're throwing in like all kinds of mechanisms and like point salad and all these different ways to score. And you don't need that. El Grande is just like, it is the essence of hobby board games in a box. So that is my top 10 Normie games. That is Jamaica, Strut, Dominion, Puzzle Strike, Ghost Stories, Lords of Vegas, Condottiere, Acquire, Dominant Species, and the big El Grande. So, all right, guys, well, that's it. Like I said, real quick video. Just wanted to give you kind of round out my tastes in the hobby game sphere. So take it easy, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.